I don't like when you do that. No, Allison.
I like this tea.
Allison, it's the same tea.
I want more water in it, though. Okay, let's go.
I'm leaving that in there so that they know what a mensch I am.
You're really taking a long time.
All right, let's get into it. Before we jump in, we have some administrative stuff. We have my reaction will come out later this week. Hit the notification bell. And Allison and I will do a live stream reacting to your comments or questions sent to DavidColarossiPhD.com, PhD@gmail.com. Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
I got an idea.
Oh.
I should clear this with you.
Oh.
We should.
Did you hear, like, making sure his head was okay? He said 18 kids.
What?
Did you see Mykelti, like, lift up his head a little bit?
So yes, I have the big dream of a big house with lots of rooms and lots of space, a guest house. And I hope that the place is big enough that everybody could come back at the same time if they wanted.
I think that's true. That's what he wants. I just don't think he knows how to create that environment. His ego gets in the way of him creating an environment where people would want to come back like that. But I think he does genuinely miss that, want that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend every woman just eat your placenta.
Oh, so
I actually ate my placenta raw, though, after Avalon. I straight up had took a bite.
What is going on? I can't.
David, she's her own person.
I admire it.
You get an F right now in open-mindedness.
Why don't you take a big bite out of your raw placenta?
It's not my thing.
Okay, it's not my thing either. I can't react.
I actually have a picture on my phone of my placenta, and you can see the bite mark that I took out of it.
Stop it. Stop. We don't need that. There's a line where we go, like, you know what? The story was enough.
Dave, to each their own.
She's playing this, like, open-minded, but when the camera turns off, she's going to go, that's gross.
No, I'm open-minded.
But it's what all mammals do. I wish so badly I would have known about eating your placenta. I would have done it in a heartbeat.
Okay, well, I'm gonna shock y'all. I was the first one to do it.
Can someone send me the data on this placenta thing? Is there any, like, is there data on it?
I just have to say, the argument that all mammals do it doesn't hold water.
They also, like, clean fleas off each other like bonobo monkeys.
Yeah, we're different
Evolved.
than other animals. Right? Does that, just because they do it?
I feel like to each
A
their
lot of
own.
animals eat their own dead young.
But here's the thing. Now that I know Robyn did it, I judge it more. Is that weird?
Yeah, good.
I was not being judgy, and then I realized Robyn did it, and I'm like, oh, God, Robyn, you ruin everything.
Don't most mammals, if they have a stillborn child, they eat that child? Like, I don't know that the animal kingdom is always super discerning about what they eat.
He came back a couple of days later and texted me. He's like, hey, I've been like thinking about what you've been saying. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I was like, forgive me for what? Like,
This is like Robyn's way of taking accountability, is Kody's way. Like,
What do you mean?
We all did this to each other. That's Robyn's way, but it's never like, I did this. And Kody does the same thing. Like, you say sorry, I'll say sorry. I'll say sorry if you say sorry. I forgive you. Now you say you forgive me back.
Yeah. Help me out. Give me something. Give me something. I can't lose this entirely.
Because I told him you guys should get a counselor or something. I mean, like, I don't know. What do you think?
Does it feel like Janelle has a lot of appliances on the counter?
It is a little cluttered, yes.
I told Dad that if he doesn't change and he can't take accountability, then I just won't ever see him again, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
What do you think about Gabe giving Kody an ultimatum like that?
I was distracted by the appliances. Can you tell me what he just said?
He said, I told Dad that if he didn't change and take accountability, I'm just never going to see him again.
I feel like he set a boundary, and I'm proud of him for that. Mm-hmm. Because before we even heard that, that's what I was saying. He's trying to skirt accountability by saying, like, oh, you apologize and I apologize, What do you think?
It's hard. I'm trying to answer there's like sort of two parts of it. One is, in this case with Kody, what do you think about it? And I think it's an easy answer to say, this is great. He's setting boundaries because Kody's really shitty. But then I'm also thinking, okay, like if it wasn't Kody, from a principle standpoint, is it appropriate for a kid that's 20 years old to give their parent an ultimatum? Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yes.
Why?
Because his dad was not around. Mm-hmm. And he's setting a boundary and saying, like, I need you to take accountability for this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it makes sense in that he's protecting himself. It's his right to do that. I think it is... I mean, I guess what I'm struggling with is, I think it makes sense for Gabe. I can tell you that if you're interacting with somebody who has Kody's personality type, that very egocentric me type, if you don't give them an off-ramp, it's very difficult for that. Like Gabe is saying, Kody, you have to come to me hat in hand and say, this is 100% my fault. And if you don't do that, then I'm not going to engage with you. And I would just say that Kody's personality type is one that makes that kind of concession very difficult. So if Gabe wanted a relationship with Kody, unfortunately, I think he would have to give Kody an off-ramp by saying, let's all work on this. I had my part in it too, making a concession. Mm-hmm. Not saying it's right, but that's what I'm struggling with is there is the what's right by Gabe's boundary, and then there is what is practical given the personality type that Gabe is interfacing with in Kody.
Yeah. I hate when you do that. Because I feel like maybe you just don't want a relationship with that person. Like if you're constantly having to concede for the other person's fragile ego, then maybe you're like, maybe I don't want.
But what if Gabe does want? I mean, I think this is a challenge because Gabe does want a relationship with him.
Are we sure?
No, I'm just saying in principle, there are a lot of kids of narcissistic parents. Not diagnosing Kody, I'm just saying let's just say you had someone that was a narcissistic parent. If you want a relationship with that parent, driving a hard line around what what they are responsible for and sort of making them feel like it's all them. I mean, Kody doesn't have the ego to tolerate that kind of...
I understand. I'm just saying it always sucks to be the person conceding.
Yes.
So, yes, if he wants one, he's going to have to give Kody an off-ramp.
Yeah.
And I don't like that position.
Yeah.
Because,
I think we agree. I agree with you. Okay. I agree. I don't like it. I think that Gabe is within his every right, and it's probably healthier for Gabe to say, no, thank you. But if Gabe wants to have a relationship with Kody, I think he has to concede.
The last I knew, he really just thinks the kids should, let him be their patriarch. And how that would go, I think, is that they would have to conform to the way that Kody and Robyn see the world. That's how I perceive it.
I think that's well said. Like what Janelle is saying is accurate. And I would tell you that if I were Gabe's coach or therapist, this would be the conversation we're having. It would be, this is the guy you're dealing with. You have your emotional position. What can you tolerate as far as, like, what's it worth to you? What can you tolerate? What's healthier for you? Mm-hmm. Like, Gabe has to figure that out. It's not a this is right, this is wrong issue.
Patriarchy. I've never been patriarchal. I've never behaved patriarchal. I actually was just angry once when Christine was leaving and I said, hey, we're going to do this patriarchy thing, but I've never been patriarchal.
You regret saying that.
I don't know if I can think of a person that lives their life in a more patriarchal manner than Kody.
Yeah.
Like,
They're not loyal and obedient. You do what I say.
Yeah, you must respect me. You must be deferential. You have to follow my rules. He is like the poster child for a patriarchy. Mm-hmm. But I saw a podcast with Kody where he was talking about how his sister saw that episode and ripped him a new one.
Oh, really?
Called him and was like, are you nuts? And it created a big split, like off screen, because his sister was like, Who are you, man?
I love my wives. I love my children. I just wanted to keep everybody safe. When I got COVID, I did become a little bit hostile. It was like a sort of a bias from my experience. I mean, I saw the Grim Reaper. It was scary.
He was not that sick. So traumatic.
I want to know why he would be a high risk factor. He's not obese. He's pretty healthy.
Got
like
those pecs popping.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the weight on his chest. So his lungs had a hard time moving all that pec muscle.
Yeah. Shoot, couldn't expand.
So Kody and I are no longer married in any way, shape, or form. So there's that.
I feel like she should feel relieved. Because now she could bind with someone for eternity in a beautiful way. Because being bound to that for eternity, can you imagine? Oh, every morning.
You're still here?
I'm still bound to you?
I got a phone call from the church leader.
They did say that it was on the grounds of abandonment. And I know he doesn't like that word because he doesn't feel like he abandoned me.
He totally abandoned her. Totally.
I wonder how he sees it.
I know. I'd love to have him, but he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, she could just go on her way.
Said
I
some
mean, I don't
outlandish
care.
things. I gave her a barn to minimum option.
Robyn felt that if I waited on God, that things could change for mine and Meri's relationship. And that was advice that I took.
So blame Robyn.
Not my responsible. I listened to that crazy
I
person's
listened
advice.
to Robyn, and she told me to wait on God, and God never showed up.
Yeah, so it's God's fault and Robyn's fault.
Yeah.
Kody's been emotional about this with Meri. He shed tears.
Did he?
There's no chance he shed tears that they're split.
I feel like he was like,
Yeah.
Let's just be honest here. I was afraid of what she would do if I ripped off that Band-Aid. It's because Meri was never loyal to me, ever. That's what I've been worried about, is just kind of reputation, because...
Wait a second. So he said, I was afraid of what she would do. And I thought he meant she's going to, like, self-harm, or she would get really depressed. No, his fear is that she's going to talk negatively about me.
I think that Robyn definitely has a victim complex. I mean, to put it bluntly. And I don't necessarily blame her for that. I think that different people devise different strategies to keep themselves afloat, but...
okay.
Do you have any thoughts about Robyn having the victim complex?
Yeah, like, I think he said it right. Like, her dad abandoned her growing up, and so she came up with a strategy to not be abandoned. So she maneuvered so other people would get abandoned.
But I mean, I agree. But how does that relate to the victim complex?
That's her strategy, to be the victim. That's how it keeps her from being abandoned. She always needs a hero. Kody's really good at being the hero.
I see.
Comes on a white horse and saves the day.
If she actually believes that we were mistreating her or her children in any way, when she was constantly getting favorited by dad and we were always working on our relationship with her kids, if she actually believes that, then there's no chance of me having a relationship with Robyn ever again.
I think I disagree with Gabe here.
Okay.
Because I think he's conflating two issues. Right? He's saying Robyn was being favored by dad. And I think he's not saying it, but he's implying it, that also Robyn's kids were favored by dad. And then he's saying, if she thinks that we, Janelle's kids, Christine's kids, were mistreating her and her children, then we can never see eye to eye because they were favored by Kody. But that's two different things, right? How Kody treats them versus how Janelle and Christine's kids treat her.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? Like, that's not... So I guess to me, it is... I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's possible that Janelle's kids could, that they could push Robyn out, push Robyn's kids out, be cliquish with the kids that they grew up with, which would make sense. And it could feel very isolating to Robyn and her kids. Like, that's not That's independent of Kody's behavior.
Yes.
Robyn herself, her last two conversations with Janelle was Robyn begging Janelle to have a relationship with her. Janelle's a relationship coward.
I want to hear Janelle's perspective.
The hell's a relationship coward?
I don't know, but I want to hear I don't want to hear that conversation that took place between Janelle and Robyn. I don't want to hear it through Kody's eyes. I want to see it.
Right. That's a very good point.
But I'm not hopeful for a relationship with Dad and Robyn.
Gabriel really is he's at peace. He's at peace that his dad is not in his life.
He's definitely not at peace. Just as a side note, I get it. That's good for Janelle to feel that way. That kid has a lot of frustration, a lot of angst tied to Kody. Mm-hmm. Just as a side note, he's not at peace. Mm-hmm. He's middle fingers up in the air, angry at both of them. Mm-hmm.
I was calm and collected and said, hey, you're hurting this family, no one else. And he's like, you're something like, you're not loyal just like your mother. And I was like, okay.
I would kill him.
If you were the son?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not loyal. You're disloyal just like your mom. All right, go fuck yourself.
This isn't what I envisioned my life to be. I'm struggling with my identity and what does it mean, and I don't see my future anymore.
Is anyone else tired I just feel tired of hearing Robyn say the same thing over and over again.
This is a new wrinkle.
What's the new wrinkle? She's so boring.
That she
It's this porch all over again.
No, I think what we're learning here is that she had a really crappy upbringing. Mm-hmm. She was unmoored. She wanted a big family because that created an identity for her, a safe harbor. Mm-hmm. And because she was abandoned by her dad, she was like, I'm not gonna, she was abandoned, her mom was abandoned. She's like, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not abandoned. And that drive her to keep Kody all to herself led to the destruction of the family. And now the thing that she wanted most, which was to have a stable environment, is gone. And so she
doesn't know that she caused it.
It doesn't matter if she knows it or not, but her experience is, I so badly wanted this environment, this safety net, this place where I was needed, and now it's all gone.
Yeah.
Is that not new, though?
No.
I get up tomorrow, put on a happy face, and make it beautiful and make it special. And I owe that to my kids. And I know that Kody's gonna struggle, and I don't know.
She's so annoying, Dave. You over her yet? Can we just fast forward?
Yeah.
Next time on Sister Wives.
It was too much Robyn.
It was a little Robyn heavy. I thought the Gabe part was interesting.
Yeah, hearing Gabe. I do want to hear the conversation with Robyn begging Janelle for a relationship.
Yeah.
TLC put it out there.
Yeah, we want.
Did it happen?
We want firsthand, not Kody's rendition.
Yeah.